right. We should be going. Hello, Facebook friends.
Hi.
How are you guys today? I'm going to check my computer, and we're going to do a sound check here. Make sure you guys can all hear us okay. Make sure that we are live with you guys out there. Let's see what we got here. How's everyone doing out there today? If we're live, you guys can go ahead and tell us how things are going, because we want to know. So don't be afraid to put a comment in here. If you have a question and you'd like us to answer that, please let us know. And then, of course, afterwards, we will post this as well. I'm just looking. It looks like we are... If we're live, you guys can go ahead. We are live. So I'm going to click on there just so I can see all of our comments. And
Awesome. Hi, you guys. I'm a little under the weather here.
Yeah. So Dee's not feeling good today.
No, Dee's a little bit under the weather, but I'm a trooper, so we're going to be fine.
She thinks it was the Atlanta trip. We just got back from Atlanta.
I don't know what you guys did to me in Atlanta.
Oh, my goodness. Well, the weather was hot and sticky. It wasn't,
it was muggy.
Yeah, it was really muggy. It wasn't good weather like we get here for sure.
Yeah, isn't that weird to go somewhere else and we have better weather in Arizona? That's a scary thing.
That's odd, though, this time of year.
That's very odd.
You know, we left and it was like 76 during the day.
I know.
Which generally... It's, a 99 to 100 by now during the day. So, I didn't mind the 80-some degree weather that they had over there.
No, we've got some really good weather here, so we have to cherish it because I don't know how long this is going to go on. I don't know how long this is going to go.
That's true. High fives to who is enjoying the weather.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
It's showtime here, so
okay.
I'm going to send you the feed. Have a good show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I guess we don't need to do any sound checks.
No sound check. You got our sounds, I guess.
Hey, Robert. Glad you're joining us today.
Hi, Robert.
Robert's my husband. For anyone who's...
Is that Robert?
Yeah.
Robert?
He's our photographer.
I know.
But he's still not back.
Robert.
Without permission.
Comes home tomorrow.
Yay.
Your
Finally.
best life.
Yeah.
Whether you want to start the business of your dreams or celebrate your present and future accomplishments, you're definitely in the right place. Now, here are your hosts, Colleen and Dee.
Well, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon which country or time zone you're listening from. You have just joined the show Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I'm with my beautiful co-host.
And I am Dee Daniels. How are you guys? Yes.
Hey, everybody out there. So, Dee's a little under the weather today.
Yeah. I've got this little cold, this bug. I think maybe I got it from Atlanta. So just a little bit, but I'm a trooper, so we're going to get through this just fine.
So we have an amazing show for you all today. Just to give you a little sneak peek before we get started here, we're being joined today by Marnie Schneider, and Marnie is the founder of the Keep On Playing Foundation. She's also an author of a few books, and the granddaughter of Leonard Tosi. He's the previous owner of the NFL Philadelphia Eagles, and he is also the founder of the Ronald McDonald House. So
Isn't that exciting? Yes.
Remember last week we had Lorraine Tallman on the line and here in the studio, and she's the founder of America Hope Rainbow Angels, and so I'm always supportive of anyone that has a foundation to help children, for sure. So we have her on the line this afternoon, and we're going to get to her in just a few minutes, and we also have a few interviews that we did at the Atlanta Luncheon that I want to be able to play for our listeners as well, but let's get caught up real quick on what we've been doing.
Yeah, so
we have been traveling. We just got back from Atlanta. Yeah. So as a reminder for Lead Up for Women, we travel around every month, sometimes twice a month, and we do a luncheon in different cities. And we're educating women on what Lead Up for Women is, as well as bringing in panelists that support who we are and what we stand for.
Right.
And we have 3 power-packed hours that we are inspiring, motivating, educating women in the areas of how to lean into what your purpose is.
Right.
And how to live your best life and what tools are available for you for that. So, yeah.
Pretty exciting. So you had some fun things going on this weekend, too, didn't you? You were out of town a bit.
So I came back on, I don't even remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday. I flew back after Atlanta, and then Friday I flew back out to L.A. My son was married there, and so we had most of the family was over there. I also had a wedding on Friday evening for my nephew.
So
I went to the wedding on Friday evening.
Everywhere. Wedding bells ringing all over the place.
And let's not forget about all the graduations this last week. So I did go to a couple high school graduations for some children that I've stayed in very close contact with that I used to teach in my church in the young women. And I also so I went to those graduations, then went to their open houses on Friday, then the wedding, then flew to L.A. and just got back from L.A. on a Monday.
Wow, that is pretty exciting.
So it was crazy. I feel like I should be the one that's sick.
I know. You all the flying you've been exactly how I didn't end up being the one sick.
So anyhow, jumping right in, we had a really great time in Atlanta.
Oh, yes.
So a couple of we had a panelist, June Klein. She was about humor, and her whole purpose in life is really to help women live mo better, is what she says.
She's so cute.
She brought a lot of humor to the room. We had a lot of laughs. And then Afsanah really talked about if you were to lean into your best life and follow your purpose, who would be those around you that supported you? And she mentioned how we think who's there to support us is the closest to us.
Right.
And then she said, you'll find out that those are the ones that are the most reluctant.
Right.
And so you got to find yourself a good circle of people that support you. And it was perfect because Lead Up for Women community is that community.
That's right.
To support,
women
in that
She talked a lot
purpose.
about that support and then how to identify the different personalities in people based on work and personal, which is really interesting. Her work is very interesting.
Yeah, she's also going to be hosting, we're starting our webinar series, so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we're going to be launching those. Our first webinar series will be on June 11th.
Right.
And that will be Anise Sacker and myself, and then every month will be a different member of Lead Up for Women, and I had talked with Afsanah this morning, and she is going to be launching in the July series. So she'll be doing that one on July 18th. And these are member-based webinars for our members as part of the tools to help them grow and learn. And she'll be talking a lot about the personalities, how to identify your personality, and then how to leverage that moving forward in business and in your personal lives and your community as well. So she'll be doing those series. And again, those are for members only. So if you are not yet a member of Lead Up for Women, it's very simple. You just go to our website, www.leadupforwomen.com/membership. So you can just click on Become a Member, join the movement. There are buttons all over the website to go ahead and join today. So we welcome you to our community where you can learn and grow, and also give you the platform as well for you to be able to hold one of the monthly webinars and educate all of our members, as well as utilize that platform to market what you do in your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're about here. So I wanted to jump in. Oh, our last panelist was Dr. Shanita Foster, and what I love that she brought to the table was her purpose, and she had a very profound story. And I don't want to get into it today because we are going to have her on the radio next week, so I don't want to get in and blow her story for her.
Right.
But she talked a lot about. She's in the middle of writing a book, and she talked about your purpose in the order of you need to find your purpose. And once you find your purpose, then you'll find peace. It needs to be in this order. It doesn't go the other way around. And then after that, that's when the money comes.
True.
So she said, if you're chasing the money, you're not going to find your purpose or your peace.
True.
But if you chase your purpose, you will find peace.
All those things
and
come.
then the money will come.
Right,
So
that's a great way
that's
to
what
look
I'm
at
doing.
it.
My
There you
purpose
go.
is Lead Up for Women.
That's right.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick. I have a couple interviews that I did right after the luncheon because I want to make sure we have plenty of time to get to Marnie. So let's quickly listen to the first interview that we have, and it was with Anita Anderson, and we also had Afsana Abri. She stayed after to do an interview with us, so we'll listen in quickly on that interview. I am here with two of the participants from our luncheon today in Atlanta, and the two beautiful ladies I have in front of me are
Afsana Abri.
Okay, and Afsana Abri with
Afsana Abri Cornerstone Strategies.
Great.
And Anita Henderson, the author's midwife with Write Your Life.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here today at our luncheon. It was so profound and such a wonderful luncheon. I wanted to ask you why you picked the Lead Up for Women luncheon to attend today.
I feel like it was the community that I needed, and I felt supported, and also meeting a group of women that are curious, they want to be the better version of themselves. It was truly, truly inspiring for me. I looked at all the material, all the hard work you put into this, and I was like, this is my clan.
Good. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad you felt that way because I want everyone to leave here feeling really good.
Thank you. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, great.
I attended because I found out about it from FCA. I had never heard of Lead Up for Women, and you can't beat a good recommendation, so I came. Your materials look great. I'm glad I was here. The room was full of smart, energetic, intelligent, successful women, and I'm glad I was here. The panel discussion was phenomenal. And hearing all the stories, for me as an author coach, that gets me. I love a good story.
Tell me more about the stories and how the stories speak to you and help you grow.
Oh, stories not only speak to us, but speak for us, quite frankly. Everybody has a story. And you made a very good point in your remarks, which is that all great women have a book. And I agree. Unfortunately, we don't tell our stories enough.
Yeah.
Either we're laden with shame or fear or guilt or lack of confidence that we don't share our stories. And I think that's one of the things that Lead Up for Women did today, which was show the power of telling your story. So some of those stories about how we got to where we are and who we are is inspiring and helps for the next women to come up and understand that, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much.
I completely agree, Anita. And I think we come here, we get to where we are in life, and we get so busy with whatever it is right now that we forget the path that we have taken to get here. It's my stories that made me who I am. And whether we have children, we want to pass it to our children, or for our community. Most of the time we say hello, we have friends, we have a community, but do we really know each other? It's only through these stories that we get to really know each other. And that's when we really create a bond. Right. And that's why I loved it too. I really was amazed that, we have been friends for almost 2 years, but a lot of the stories I said today, she didn't know about.
Exactly. It was like eye-opening. We got to talk, girl.
Yeah.
So, I think it's important. You made a very good point, Afsana, because for Lead Up for Women, and something I touched on earlier in today was we really as adults have to drop that armor and show up. And Brene Brown, she's one of the best on her TED Talk, when she talks about vulnerability and how she was this straightforward, driven woman, and then all of a sudden she was faced with something that tore her down, and she had to embrace vulnerability even when she didn't want to. She was torn down to have to face it, and it changed her world and led her and catapulted her in a completely different direction. And I think that when you mention that, if women would lean into who they really are and their purpose, as Shanita on our panel mentioned earlier, and shed that armor and become vulnerable,
we really are,
then we would be catapulted into a different direction.
Yes.
When we really truly live our purpose. And Shanita said purpose, peace, and then money. And many people just go after that money. And I'm here to say that generally does not. Actually, it highlights even more issues that you have. And that money doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
Being you and following your purpose and living into the passion of what you really want to do, and that's how the doors open. And
so another way to say what you just said, money doesn't make you happy. Maybe happy makes you money.
Yes.
Think about it that way. It's
so
like
true, right?
Your success is in your story.
yeah.
So find the seed, the nugget of your story that's led you to where you are, and share that.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you so much for believing in Lead Up for Women and being here today. And thank you, Espinoff, for being on our panel.
Thank you for having us.
So wonderful
awesome.
to have
Great
you guys
event.
here
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love that interview.
Wow.
What spoke to you in that interview?
I just like the fact that the women were very in tune with connecting to each other and very open to hearing each other's stories and learning. I mean, a couple of people knew each other but yet didn't know certain things about each other. And it's because sometimes you don't really know a person's true journey until they take that time to share it to you, share it with you. So I just think that was really amazing.
I like that Afsanat called us her clan.
Yes.
That was so cute.
That's cute.
She's part of our clan now. She's one of our members. And, she, it was true when she said recommendations. So it really is about when you find the right community for yourself, which I'm so thankful there's thousands of women's communities out there.
Absolutely.
Because you have to just find what's right for you. We're not in competition with anyone else. And when you find what's right for you and what gives you what you need and feeds you the knowledge, and you can really lean into your purpose, then you feel like you're at home, like, it's your clan and part of that community. And remember, if you ever need any additional information about our events, you can always go to our website, leadupforwomen.com. You can email us at info@leadupforwomen.com. You can email us while you're listening to this show, whether it be on the podcast on Voice America, the empowerment for you. So I'll jump in quickly to the last one. It's very short, and then we'll take a break and bring in Marnie. Sound good? Hey there, I am with Allie Chally from Aaron's, and she just attended the Lead Up for Women luncheon. And tell us a little bit about you real quick, Allie, and what you do for Aaron's.
I am the store planning and design manager for Aaron's. We're a lease-to-own furniture company. So my team and I design and develop the interiors of new and remodel spaces for our stores.
Wonderful. So tell me, Allie, why I know you are... some on the radio might be surprised you're on our advisory board.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's probably why you attended the luncheon today. But let's back up a little bit further and let me ask you, why did you join Lead Up for Women Community and become a member and serve on the board?
That's a good question. Because I really thought that the platform for Lead Up for Women, that the platform it creates for women was just amazing. In my professional career, I've been mentored by men, wonderful, very business savvy men, but I never got to meet with women in my industry, or in business in general. And so to be able to connect with women and support and empower other women, it was like a no-brainer. Of course I had to join, and I had to be a part of this amazing journey.
Well, let me thank you. And thank you for being a member with us. And tell me, what did you take out of today's luncheon here in Atlanta?
Oh, it was amazing. Those panelists were fantastic because you have three beautiful and brilliant women who have been so successful. But each from different parts of the world, different parts of life, but they're similar. But their stories are somewhat similar, and how they achieved their success, and really needing kind of a tribe of women, a community around them to succeed. And it just kind of confirmed what I'd already thought about business, thought about success. And then being able to see some familiar faces of women that I've known through the industry and I've seen and met, and then meeting some new people. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Wonderful. So if you were to give advice to any women out there in the future that were thinking about attending a Lead Up for Women luncheon, what would you say to them?
I would say that it is the best few hours you can spend. Take some time out of your day. It's not quite a therapy session, but it's like sitting and getting like recharged. Yeah. And it really helps kickstart my motivation. Like right now it's, 3:00 in the afternoon and I'm going back to the office. I want to go, I want to work, I want to kind of better myself. So I think people need to come so that you can meet other fantastic women, build that community, make those connections, and then just feel empowered and motivated.
Thank you, Allie. Thanks for joining us today. We're so thankful that you came to luncheon.
Thank you for having me.
She's so cute.
Oh, I love Allie. She was
Allie's
so amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's photos of those that we did interviews on Facebook as well, and you can see them when you go to our events page. You can see photos of our panelists, and of course, all the panelists have all their websites linked to their photos. So if you wanted to reach out to them or get to know them a little bit better, we do all the interviews here on the radio show with them as well prior to the luncheon. But if there's ever a chance that you want to learn more about them, that's the place to go. So we are going to swing to break, and when we get back, everybody stick around because I've been super excited about our next guest. Marnie Schneider is joining us, and you guys are just going to love her. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay, great job. We're all clear.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right. And you want me to leave Marnie on hold or bring her in?
Oh, no, you can bring her in.
Hi, Facebook guys. How are you? Just,
We've got a few
FYI,
people.
guys, I'm a little bit under the weather here. So if you see me, constantly sipping on, this is some peppermint tea.
That sounds yummy.
Yeah, peppermint tea I'm drinking. I heard it was good for my throat, so I'm testing it out. And,
let's see. We have Marnie on the line. Marnie, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, lady.
Yeah,
how are you today?
I put you guys on mute so I wasn't, heavy breathing.
I would have been like, who's breathing in the background?
I'll save
What's
that
going
for
on?
the next segment.
Oh, my gosh.
But it was great. What a great show you guys have.
Hi,
Marnie.
Marnie.
Thanks so much, Marnie. We're looking forward to having you on. So we're doing Facebook Live, as you can see, because you're joined on Facebook Live as well. So we will, everyone's just kind of staring at the two of us here because, I didn't think you were going to fly out from North Carolina this morning to do the show, but you can all see Marnie's photos either under the event for Philadelphia on our website, or you can see her here on the website. Ashlyn does an amazing job of keeping up with all the social media.
Do we have some people checking
and posting.
in over
We
there?
do. We've got Steph is there, and
Hi, Steph.
and Paige is there,
Hi,
and
Paige.
like I said, Robert was there, Marnie's there. Yes, so we have a few people that have joined us today live, and that's just the start of it because we generally get about 3,000 views on these Facebook videos, which is
June
great.
texted me, and June said, "I'm trying to listen to you guys, but I got to jump on a plane." She's so hilarious.
Yeah,
oh my
I talked with her
gosh.
last night and actually called her this morning on my way. She's heading to a conference. So,
Yes,
she's
on her
a
way to
sweetheart.
Dallas.
Anyway, Marnie, so once we get back from this break, then we will talk to you for a full segment, and then we'll go to break. Then when we get back from the segment, we'll wrap up with you so that we, we'll finish up and, 5-10 minutes wrap up with how everyone can reach you and contact you and where they can buy your books. And then from there, we will close out the show.
10 seconds.
Fantastic.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, stand by. We're coming back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are listening to Lead Up for Women. Speak up to lead up. To reach the show today, please call 1-888-346-9141.
Oh, yeah, that
That's
number.
1-888-346-9141.
Say that more often.
That number.
You may also send an email to info@leadupforwomen.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back, listeners.
We're
and
back.
Facebook Live. You are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, and I am your host, Colleen Biggs.
And I am your co-host, Dee Daniels. How is everybody out there?
Hopefully everyone's feeling good. We have our good friend Marnie Schneider on the line.
Yes.
Say hi to everybody, Marnie.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited about it. Thank you.
Heck yeah, girl. We're excited that you're going to be joining us on June 10th in, is it June 11th? I always get the dates wrong.
I think it's
June. All right. Well, I think I was thinking of July 11th,
right.
which was
June
our Boston
13th.
one. Yeah. Yeah. So it's June 13th and then our July 16th Boston one. But she's going to be in Philadelphia, which is her hometown because you're a Philadelphia native, right?
I am, yes. I was not born in Philadelphia, but I spent most of my youth there in Philadelphia, and I definitely am a Philly girl. So,
Yeah.
That is Philadelphia is my hometown.
I
call
can
it
relate.
hometown, and
I can relate.
have many great memories there.
That's great.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about you and growing up in Philadelphia. You have you had quite some big shoes there of leaders in your family. Tell us a little bit about what that was like.
Yes, well, I grew up in Philadelphia, and my grandfather, Leonard Toews, owned the Philadelphia Eagles, and also, as you had mentioned, he was the original founder, well, there were a few of them, of the Ronald McDonald House. But the first ever Ronald McDonald House was opened in Philadelphia in 1974. So my grandfather owned the Eagles from 1968 to 1985, and, during that time, he did many incredible things. Among them, in the community was to open up the first Ronald McDonald House. And then something also very near and dear to me was that my mom, Susan, she's an attorney and an amazing lady, and she was also involved in the Philadelphia Eagles. So my grandfather placed her in the highest position at the Philadelphia Eagles, and she was the vice president, legal counsel, and general manager.
Yeah.
And to this day, she's the only female that's ever held the position of general manager at a professional football team. So I'm very proud of my mom's accomplishments and my grandfather's wisdom and ability to see the whole playing field and put my mom in that position. So
I saw a video of her on YouTube when she was being interviewed, and I'm just going to say that it was tough being the only female in the NFL at that time in that position, because she shared how she was spoken to and some of the hurdles that she had to overcome. And I think at the time they probably felt like brick walls.
Well, I think that for my mom, she's always been a person and has definitely taught me, you have to see, and this is, I speak in a lot of sports analogies or sports references. You just have to see down the whole playing field. So, while I think that a lot of people, and, it happens even to this day, both men and women are often uncomfortable dealing with certain people that are in a position of power. So you have to try to find, speak their language and figure out how you're going to get it done. And that was kind of the family slogan, is like, what do we need to do to get it done? And then you actually have to be able to execute on that. And those are some things that have really, I believe, have helped me get through difficult situations in professional, endeavors, and also personal as well. So I'm grateful for watching my mom have to overcome a lot of sometimes frustrating scenarios and really be able to shine through the shade or whatever it is and do that beautifully. And she certainly was able to do that, and my grandfather as well.
Now, your grandfather, is he living?
No, my grandfather passed away in 2003.
Okay. But I know your mom is, because you take care of her.
Yes, my mom is. Yes, I'm very fortunate. Yeah, my grandfather was 87 years old, which, it's never long enough when you love somebody.
No.
It's never long enough. But he had a pretty decent life, many different chapters of many different books. I know you were talking about, we all have a book and we all have a story. I've actually written 5 books at this point in my life, but I probably, but my grandfather had many colorful chapters in his life, and my mom certainly as well. So while he's definitely missed, his legacy is large, and that's, some of the reasons why I really try to do everything I can to make a difference and add value in my personal relationships and professional ones as well.
So did you write those books? Are any of those books written on the life of your grandfather?
Not yet. I'm actually working on that one. Kind of, it really does lead into my alter ego, I suppose, is a character named Football Freddie, and Freddie is a girl, and Fumble the dog, Game Day.
Yeah.
And what had happened is that many different people had come to me and they said, "Wow, you grew up in this really unbelievable life and traveling around and all these cities, and what was it like in football games and glamorous and late night situations and professional athletes." And I was like, you know what? I grew up in a pretty strict household, and while yes, I was a teenager during some of the years my grandfather owned the Eagles, I was definitely, my mom was working there. I was definitely not out doing things that were remotely scandalous. I was maybe ordering room service and having one too many desserts, and it was pretty boring. So I thought writing a story, although it was exciting to me because room service is like a really wonderful thing. So especially when you can get two desserts and, no one's really chaperoning that. However, I was kind of like, well, there's nothing that, I grew up, and again, I was, in a strict household, and things were, education was really important, and being involved in the community and things like that. So what we decided was, well, let's write a kids book series that features my life growing up, but focusing on all these great football cities that exist across across our wonderful country. And so that's how Football Freddie and Fumble the Dog Game Day was born. So we started the first book in Philadelphia, where Freddie and Fumble, her dog, travel around and they see all these great historical sites in Philadelphia. And then you learn a little bit about the history of the city, and you learn a little bit about football, and you learn about the traditions of football. And then, you can definitely have a way to communicate perhaps with your uncle, brother, father, cousin, things like that. Sometimes, men love to talk about sports, and I always think that sports is the universal language. And so then Freddie, the football book in Philadelphia did very well. So we then said, well, let's try another city. So we picked the Carolinas and did Football Freddie and Fumble the Dog Game Day in the Carolinas and highlight all these great historical sites in the Carolinas, and then moved on to Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Chicago, which will be out next month, and then we're getting ready for the next couple cities to start when the football season begins as well.
Are you today a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
I'm a football fan. Of course, I love the Eagles.
Yeah,
I mean that would be hard for me. I love football.
Yeah.
I love sports. I love watching live sports, baseball. Soccer is maybe my least favorite, although my kids play soccer and I, would cheer for it and everything else. But, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, football is, at the top of my list. So, yes, I'm an Eagles fan, and I definitely cheer for the Eagles. But when it comes down to it, I just love football, and I'm definitely a football fan. And I love what each different city has so much to offer. So that gets me really excited to share that with other people and to maybe, get them interested and get them excited in football and also the history of different places. That's really fun for me.
Absolutely.
Marnie, I guess one of the things I'd like to ask you, coming from this amazing family with your grandfather and the work that he did in terms of building that football organization, and your mom and the position that she was in, what would you say is the best lesson that you've learned from both your grandfather and your mom that helps you today?
Well, I mean, that is a beautiful question, because I really find ways to honor their tremendous legacy, as much as I can. I would say that my grandfather had one saying that he would always say, and it's beautiful, and he would always say, civility is not a sign of weakness. And that's something that means so much to me, that I, really try to be that way. And he's right, and he was a very civilized man, and it's not a sign of weakness. And so doing things that are, kind to other people really do mean a lot to the person that you're doing something for. And I usually find that when I do nice things for other people, it really benefits me. It's like when somebody calls and says, "Can you help out?" I'm like, "Sure." And then no matter what it is, I'm like, "Wow, that was so great." Like there's some sort of connection, or I made a new friend, or I learned something. So those are things that really matter. And then my mom, she's definitely a tenacious, hardworking, disciplined person. And so what I've learned from my mom is to really find ways just to get it done. And that, you have to roll up your sleeves, be the first one in, the last one out, and do everything you can possible when it really is something that you believe in to accomplish your goals. And definitely have a strong start and a stronger finish, because those are things that, will ultimately define your character.
Absolutely, they do. And you mentioned about confidence and leadership and really learning that through your grandfather, as well as learning that through that was my phone ringing while I'm sitting here on apparently I didn't mute that, so I stopped it though, so that's good from my watch. But what I was asking was the confidence and leadership that you learn through your grandfather and your mother. Talk a little bit about how that leadership and confidence, was it just based on watching them as the examples through how they taught you through traveling and their everyday exchanges with people?
I think it was all of that. And then also actually, it was really just being able to communicate with people and to, be a good listener and be a good friend. And, and also do what you say you're going to do. Because so many people are like, I'm gonna. The school that I went to in Philadelphia, the school motto was esse quam videre, which is Latin for be rather than seem to be. And those are things that really matter. So to me, like to actually be the person and to not be the representative, but to be the person that you really want to be. And a lot of times, and you mentioned this in the beginning of your show, where sometimes your support system, your core group might not be as supportive as some, people that are in the ancillary, part of the support group. But ultimately, it's about really trying to do as much as you can for others, because when you do that and genuinely do that, and I definitely saw my family do that. I definitely saw my mom helping other women in the organization. I mean, she is the only female to ever held this position as a woman, and she was a very supportive female leader of other women and other men too, and wanting to, pay people what they were worth, whether they were a man, woman, whatever it was. And my grandfather certainly was in the same vein. And I believe that watching family, watching people, or having mentors that do things that are genuinely about giving back and creating a real purpose, that it would be, unless you really don't want to learn, you'll learn from, unless you really are stubborn and have no interest, you'll definitely learn from that. And, being able to be a supportive, good friend and having a friendship network that really is a give and take.
Yeah, because we have to celebrate that everyone is really unique. So there's going to be times, just like you said, and I'm so happy that you mentioned that, where you're able to give more for your time. And then there are going to be times when you need a little bit more. And it is that give and take, and understanding that, the serving, it never ends. And I feel, Marnie, a lot like you do with the exchanges that I have with women on the radio show, exchanges through email, at our luncheons, on the phone, with Lead Up for Women, that it's really about learning. Every time somebody crosses my path that is brand new, that I've never met before, there was a reason they were there, and I've learned something from them. Whether we move forward and it becomes a long-term relationship or just a short-term time that we're in each other's path. But
and also, learning and every day. I mean, trying to learn things from the people that are in your life every day, and remembering things that matter. And that's how I believe that, my grandfather and my mom were very good at making people feel and letting people know, reassuring them they mattered and that they were important. And the only way to really do that is by paying attention to them and by listening to what their fears are or what makes them happy or what they like. And then either providing that for them or just understanding that, and that kind of stuff will really be a great tool with other people as well, just being able to listen and acknowledge, who they are as a human being.
Absolutely.
Wow. I wanted to ask you, because I know charity, sports, family, those are the three cornerstones of what your family really believed. And to talk a little bit more about the charity part, I know the organizations themselves, in terms of sports, tend to be, very adept in giving back to the communities. But also, you guys being involved with your grandfather with the Ronald McDonald House, that's huge. And that watching that as a young woman, that had to really impact you in terms of what your life of service was going to look like. How do you think that impacted you?
Well, I was really fortunate. The thing, yes, with a lot of responsibility or being born in a situation where there is a tremendous amount of opportunity, it does create either, some people kind of shrink away or other people embrace it. And I'm really grateful that I was able to see such giving. The Ronald McDonald House to me, and I do a tremendous amount with the Ronald McDonald House, and it's very important to me to meet the families whenever I can. And whenever I'm in a city, I always stop in and say hello and introduce myself and see what I can do and explore the houses and again, just connect and thank everybody for being there. Because truthfully, the Ronald McDonald House is something that I get to kind of brag about in a way, but yet without all these amazing volunteers and employees, because they employ a tremendous amount of people, I don't get those bragging rights.
Right.
And I think that watching something grow. So in 1974, my grandfather owned the Eagles, a football player on his team. His daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Nobody knew what that was. Long story short, they started Eagles Fly for Leukemia, raised a ton of money, and then out of that, then they said, well, they need a place for families to stay. And, my grandfather's joke was, so there was a building right next to Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, and he said, well, I don't think we should call it the Leonard Toews house. He's like, I can't even get one of my wives to stay in this house. I think it's better.
Smart man.
Do that. So he called his friend Ray Kroc, and the first McDonald's to ever be inside a hospital was actually at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. And then in 1974, they opened up the first Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia, giving families a place to stay when their children were in the hospital. And since then, I've had so many wonderful stories about people and families telling me and sharing me, with me once they knew that I had a connection to the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah.
So many stories. That's really the book. It's like everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
And everyone has a story that, this happened and we were there, and that happened and we were there, and without the Ronald McDonald House. And it all starts the same way. Without the Ronald McDonald House, fill in the blank.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted you to kind of touch on that a little bit, because I think that's a very important part of your history, and obviously the history that was left behind by your grandfather, that Ronald McDonald House, and the fact that it's everywhere all over the world. Kids are still being serviced.
I'm going to jump in here because we are a little bit late for break, so we are going to head to break real quick, and then we will be back talking with Marnie Schneider and all about civility is not a sign of weakness, as her grandfather. We'll be right back with Marnie Schneider.
Okay, great. All
Sorry,
clear. Back in a couple minutes. So it's okay.
So late.
No, he's okay. It's not that bad.
All right, Marnie. So we're on break right now, and then when they play the commercial, we'll come back live with the Voice America Empowerment Channel. We are still on Facebook Live, and they can hear everything that you are saying still because we are plugged in there. And
hi, Facebook Live.
I'd like
How are
to
you
thank
guys?
David Corson, my partner, for calling during the actual radio show. My cell phone. Let's not do that ever again. And I will be sure to turn my ringer off next time. So But Marnie, this is so wonderful. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
you are such an
absolutely.
inspiration to me, and I'm sure to all of our listeners and everyone that we have. Jan, thank you for joining us today. Jan is joined us, and let's see, we have, Jan's been our latest join. Of course, we have Ashlyn on the phone as well. And Jan is actually Ashlyn's mother-in-law. So it's amazing how we keep it in the family around here, huh? So when we get back from break, let's continue the conversation. I had no idea that your grandfather reached out to Ray Kroc. I don't know if anyone has seen the movie that is the story of how McDonald's got started, but Ray Kroc was the main character in that story of how the McDonald brothers didn't have the vision that he had, and I had no idea that your grandfather knew him.
I think that was one of the. I think when my grandfather sold the Eagles, the hardest part for him wasn't the celebrity factor, because he was like a corned beef and cabbage, like on a Sunday kind of guy. But I think the hardest thing, for him was not being able to get things done as quickly as things happen when you own a team. When you own a team, you can get things done quickly because everybody's like, oh, so wait up. When you don't, you're just kind of like, you just get in line. Take it over. You might have some money, or maybe you don't, whatever it is, but you can't get things done quickly. And for people that are used to getting things done quickly, I think that's the hardest part about getting older, not being being in that universe. That's really, I think, what gets people more frustrated than anything, is the timeline of having to wait for things when you're used to being able to get things done quickly.
Right, get it done right away.
Things that really matter. I'm not talking about like a reservation at a restaurant.
Right.
I'm talking about things that really do matter.
Yeah.
That's true. That is so true.
We're just about to come back live.
Okay, thanks, Monk. It is freezing in here.
Oh, no. It'll be more sick.
I had them turn
You're
the air
listening
up.
to
and I'm
Lead Up for
freezing.
Women. Speak up to lead up. To reach the show today,
I'm wearing a
please
jacket
call
next week.
1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to info@leadupforwomen.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back, listeners. You are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I'm your host, Colleen Biggs.
And I am your co-host, Dee Daniels.
And we are on the phone with Marnie Schneider. Hello, Marnie.
Hi.
So before I cut you off there, and I apologize for that so we could go to break, you were talking about how you visit the Ronald McDonald homes in the cities when you're traveling, and everyone's stories start with, if it wasn't for the Ronald McDonald House, kind of fill in your story from there. Obviously, you feel...
It's really amazing. And I'll tell you this. So my oldest son is 19, and when he was 9 months old, he was diagnosed with neuroblastoma opsoclonus myoclonus. So that's a very, very, very deadly, very rough type of tumor for a young child. We were living in California at the time, and, we were treated at Cedars-Sinai, and there's no Ronald McDonald House there. And then once Jonathan had the surgery, we immediately flew back to Philadelphia, and everything else was done at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. Now, my family was living in Philadelphia, so we stayed with them while Jonathan was getting all of his initial treatments. Having said that, if they were not, the irony of all this is that Dr. Evans, who's the original founder with my grandfather of the Ronald McDonald House, became kind of like our lead Yoda on this journey. And my grandfather and Dr. Evans would sit in a room at Children's Hospital with me and my son and discuss Jonathan's future from a health point of view. And again, we would have been staying at the Ronald McDonald House while we got our treatment, because the best treatment for neuroblastoma and the best doctor in the world happened to be in Philadelphia at Children's Hospital. So it was really unbelievable. And I think that has made me incredibly relatable in many ways to a lot of the families that I do encounter at the Ronald McDonald House, because I have a story similar to theirs. I did not stay at the Ronald McDonald House, but yet I have a son who overcame childhood cancer, who did not walk or talk till he was almost 5, who had surgery to remove the tumor, who did chemotherapy, who did all these things. And I think about the fact of like, wow, the Ronald McDonald House is so amazing because it does provide families with this incredible place to be while they're in the middle of this. And when you have a sick child, I can tell you from experience, you can't think of anything else.
It's very different,
you cannot.
And
Nor
you can
should
relate.
You really,
no.
but you really can't.
No, and that's amazing because you actually could relate to those individuals on a much deeper level. And one of the things I liked about learning your story, Marnie, was that you didn't just stop with the Ronald McDonald House. Obviously, that was a family iconic organization and charitable foundation that your grandfather helped to start. But you went on and had your own mission to make sure that you were servicing the youth because you came up with the Keep On Playing Foundation, which was serving underserved youth in the community. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Keep On Playing, is a family expression that's very important to me. And it really does kind of cross over not just through sports, but in life. But like in sports, you have to keep on playing till the very last second. The whole thing really kind of started in 1978. The Eagles were playing the New York Giants, and the game was basically over until it wasn't. So the Eagles just kept on playing, and sure enough, the Eagles, who were about to lose, ended up, recovering a fumble on the field in the last second. I mean, the game was over, and the Eagles' defensive player, Herman Edwards, ran it into the end zone for a touchdown, which led the Eagles to a victory, which then led the Eagles to their first playoff berth in, 15 years. So Keep On Playing started from that expression. And basically what I wanted to try to do and what I'm trying to do is find ways in communities through minor league baseball and through other sporting events is to get kids an opportunity to go to a live sporting event, because I think that once they see something like that, they really enjoy it. And find ways to work with the community to get kids playing and reading. We have an expression that when kids play, we all win. Yeah. And when kids read, we all win. Yeah. So those are the two coping skills that I was blessed to experience growing up. Playing sports was a big thing. I was not a great athlete, but I definitely had an opportunity to play sports, whether it was field hockey, tennis, watching sports, and also reading and learning how to get through things by picking up a book and reading it or being read to, and also playing. So the Keep On Playing Foundation is really important to me, and finding ways in different communities to get kids to get to witness a real live sporting event, whatever it is, whether it's minor league baseball, which I love, football, obviously, really anything, high school sports, going to high school games, high school football is a great activity for, younger kids to go, for anybody, for the community to really support. And it's important for me to also be a leader in my household and show my children how, we have to keep on finding ways to give back and adding value to the community that we live in and other communities less fortunate.
How would the audience that's either on Facebook or the audience that's on the Voice America Empowerment Channel listening, who would be a person that would reach out to you for the Keep On Playing Foundation? Would it be a mother for their child? Would it be a principal at a school? Who would reach out to you, and then how would they do that? What would be the? Well,
I believe I'm pretty accessible. So if they want to go on to, Football Freddy, my book website, we donate a ton of books to different communities, whether in Philadelphia it's Read by Fourth or whatever it is, or different boys and girls clubs. They can go to Keep On Playing and email me through that, or they can email me directly. I'll just, I have an email, marnies1@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email, and I will find ways to help out. And those are things that really are important to me, and I am really interested in hearing what other communities are doing. As excited I am as about helping others, I'm interested in hearing what other people are doing, so that it really then can turn into, oh, you're doing that. Well, let me connect you with this person, or I think that this is a great fit for them. So marnies1@gmail.com is a great way to reach out to me. Okay. And again, check out footballfreddy.com. And if you buy the books, a percentage of the book sales go directly into giving back, whether it's Ronald McDonald House, Keep On Playing, different, like I said, different charities. My Pittsburgh book that just came out, my roommate in college, her son is autistic, so we're doing a lot of stuff with the autism community in Pittsburgh, and that's really important to me. Same thing in the Carolinas, giving back to the military, because there's such a huge military presence in the Carolinas, and in other places, the Ronald McDonald House. So these are things that really do matter, and we're going to start doing some stuff with the End Alzheimer's organizations, because everybody has a family member, it seems like, that has been touched by Alzheimer's. Yeah. And, I really want to find ways to help them and work with them as well.
I'm interested in that as well with you, Marnie, so I will jump on board with you. My mother-in-law suffers from Alzheimer's disease, so that's something that she's 88 years old. So that's something that I would definitely love to learn more about. So for just a recap real quick, Marnie's1@gmail.com. If we already I think we already have it up in the comment section. And then for the listeners on Voice America, it's Marnie's1@gmail.com. And then you said it's the Keep On Playing Foundation. Is that .org or .com?
It's .org.
.org.
Yeah,
okay.
It's .org and footballfreddy.com.
And footballfreddy.com.
And if you want to go to, my books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So if you go to Amazon and type in Football Freddy, they all come up, pop up, and you can order them in.
And then they have the dog series, out there.
I'm sorry. And on Facebook and Instagram, too. Send me notes.
Oh,
Let me know what you think. And that's huge. I love
See Marnie Schneider.
Their families.
On Facebook and on LinkedIn as well. I think you're on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, great.
On LinkedIn, it's just my personal page. We have a Football Freddy page, but I like to, just be in touch with people and touchy-feely communicator. So
me too. I'm a hugger, and I'll tell you I love you. So. That's great. Marnie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
This has been such a wonderful show with you, and we're so excited that you're going to be joining us at our luncheon in Philadelphia at the Del Frisco Double Eagle Steakhouse. It's super beautiful location for our venue, and she will also be joined by Sharon Lontock, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer for Title Alliance, a predominantly female-ran company, as well as Gina Noda, the founder and principal of Consult and Connect Source Consulting Group. She's also one of the advisors on our board. She'll be joining us in Philadelphia as well. So if you have not already received your tickets for that, there are some left. We are limited in this venue size. So please go over to leadupforwomen.com/events. And then you can click on the June 13th event and you can grab your tickets for that luncheon. We will be serving an amazing lunch that will be provided by Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. I have checked, and they do have veggies for me because I do not eat meat. And we are excited to have them as panelists. Again, you heard the testimonials earlier about how great the Lead Up for Women luncheons are. And I have to say, each one of them is so different. Each one of them are powerful in their own right. And each one of them inspire and motivate and encourage women personally for them in a different avenue of the filter that they're needing in their lives at that moment. So we are so blessed to be able to have this time to be on those luncheons, Marnie. So we'll see you there. We look forward to it.
Yes.
And
me too. I'm really excited.
Great.
Yes, any chance I get to be in Philadelphia and have a bunch of wonderful female advocates and cheerleaders.
I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
so thank you for including
me. We'll see you there. And then next week, on next week's show, for Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, we have Ambassador Dr. Shanita Foster. She's the panelist that was at our last luncheon. She's the best-selling author, business and life success coach, speaker and moderator. She's a communication specialist, social change philanthropist. She'll blow you away. She's wonderful. We have Dr. Jane Fendelman, which is a couples counselor, also an author and a speaker. Very important area for couples to have counseling. And then we have Jennifer Sussman joining us as the marketing and business development at Tricarico Architect and Design. She's also an article contributor for Lead Up for Women magazine. And we just have just a couple of seconds left. Is there anything, Dee, that you wanted to say before we close the show?
Well, I'm going to be really quick because I'm suffering from a little cold here. But I just want to say that I thought Marnie was really great. Her story is inspiring, and I think she continues her family legacy, which is always important to being charitable. And I'm hoping everybody has a great day.
Well, I just want to close the show by saying, remember, you are the only you that has ever been, and you are the only you that will ever be. So therefore, please, 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 I beg you, lean into your purpose and live your best life. Do not wait for someone else to give you permission to lead in your community and in business and in your personal lives. Be strong and dare to be different. And as Marnie's grandfather had mentioned, just keep on playing. We'll see you guys next week on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Have a great week.
Okay, good job. All clear.
Thanks.
Yay.
All right, Marnie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marnie.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Thank you.
You are
that
so
was wonderful.
amazing.
Thank you. You had great questions. And Dee, I hope you feel better today.
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Marnie.
All right, I'll see you in Philadelphia, Marnie. I'll be in
My
touch with you
grandfather
prior.
would say, just take a shot of Dewards, and that's
I know, right? Hey, but you know
That
what? We're
works.
troopers. We get it done.
That works.
Well,
Thank you
that's it. You know, that's yes. Yeah, absolutely. We are right. Strong start, stronger finish.
There you go.
Marnie, we will post that Facebook Live today, so feel free to share that. And you will notice that we put a ton of links in the comment section already for all of your contact information. So if you want to add any additional, please feel free to do that.
I will definitely do that. All right. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
And, I'll see you in like 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
But we'll talk
I know. It's
Awesome.
pretty close.
Thank you,
Thank
Marnie.
you, Facebook, all of
right,
our
thanks
friends
a
for
lot.
joining us today. We're going to sign off now.
Facebook Live, that's it.
Bye-bye, everybody.
The show is over. Mike now.